Am I the asshole for taking back my Ps5 my mum gave to our cousin as a gift? I'm a 19-year-old, M. My mother is 57, and my cousin a 13-year-old, M. So I waited until 2021 November to try a Ps5 I've been trying since release, and on the 22nd of November I finally got one. I was so excited to do everything with this console and couldn't wait. I bought another controller and so many games to have with this baby, even though I took out a bit of my me time savings. But this is also the time when people take Christmas presents into consideration, and I kept this as like a present to myself. My cousin, I'll call him Joe, has autism and I love the little dude, but I need to clarify that he's very spoiled and his parents don't do anything to teach him a lesson. He really wanted a PS5 and threw so many tantrums when he didn't get one. So to keep the peace, my mum took my PS5 when I was at school and hid it from me. I was shocked when I didn't see it there and really started to cry as I spent so much money for it. My mum told me that she took my PS5 as to calm down my cousin and that she'll pay me back. Her idea of paying me back is an iPad. I yelled at her for so long, saying how long it took to get it and save up money for it, and how dare she do that and invade my space. She hung up on me as I wasn't being myself and gave me time to calm down. I wasn't ready to calm down, and went to my cousin's house, rang up the doorbell, took my PS5 and games. I forgot to mention she took the games as well. A £300 iPad isn't going to cover £700 worth of stuff, and went home. My aunt tried to stop me, saying how this is all my sweet baby wants for Christmas, but I didn't care and drove straight home. My whole family is giving me so much pressure, saying I should give it back as it's not my right to go against my mother's wishes. I do feel kind of bad since his family is not that financially stable, and them buying a PS5, if they can find one, will screw up some stuff. So am I the asshole? Not the asshole. It's yours. Your mother stole it. That's a crime, you know? Family or not doesn't matter. Yeah, it's sad that your cousin's family doesn't have much money, but it's still a crime to steal stuff then. My sister used to give my stuff away. I always took it back from the person who got my stuff. I told her one more time and I report her to the police, because it's mine. If your mother wanna gift him a PS5, she can buy one and give it to him. This one is yours. Not the asshole, but make sure you either take it with you or lock it up every time you leave, or she will give it back. I hate how family is like that. You work your ass off for your things and they try to give them away. Not the asshole. However, I'm guessing your mom did this because she doesn't really understand the difference between a PS5 and an iPad. Seems odd, I know, but I've encountered situations where people think any computer-esque device is either a laptop or an iPad. Tell her to get your cousin the iPad. Cheeky smiley face. Not the asshole. Immediately take photos to prove that it is your PS5. If you don't have the receipt anymore, that would be even better. Not the asshole. What your mother did was theft. Not the asshole. Wow. You really need yo try and move out. What a toxic family this is. Not the asshole. You bought it. She stole it. Not the asshole, but you should be moving out ASAP. Am I the asshole for not letting my cousin borrow my wedding dress? 5 years ago I got married and I had a custom wedding dress made by my mill. My mill has since passed in a car accident. It was so unexpected and it broke my husband's heart. We are saving the wedding dress for my daughter, who was named after my mill. My cousin Gigi, no direct blood relationship, my mill, is now wanting to wear my wedding dress. Her mother and my granny are all on this warpath that this is her dream dress and I should let her wear it. It would be a tribute to my mill. Again, this is my side of my family and no direct relationship to my mill. Gigi was obsessed with my wedding dress when I had it, and she has already said she wanted to wear it. Gigi is not my size, much larger boobs and hips, so the dress would have to be majorly altered. My husband said, no, he wants to have our daughter wear it when she's grown up and have it altered for her or turned into a veil. My daughter is under a year and my family said that's years off and I should let them borrow it now. My cousin has turned petty at my refusal and has disinvited my parents, siblings and their children. She told her that I'm costing her thousands of dollars because she's had to pay for dress to look like mine. She's also mad because I won't lend her my dress to have it copied because I 100% don't trust her with it. My auntie and granny have banned me from their life over this because it's the one thing my cousin has wanted since she saw me in my wedding dress. I was told if I don't do this I'm cut off from any events my granny host, and my mom is too because she has raised such a selfish and entitled daughter. Not the asshole. They are being ridiculous. However, please don't pressure your daughter to wear it when she's older. She deserves her own dream. Not the asshole, but your family has inspired me. There is an amazing apartment with a terrace in my building that I have wanted ever since we moved in. I'm going to knock on their door and demand the apartment, because apparently if you see something you like, you are automatically entitled to it. Not the asshole. She is only entitled to what she can afford. I would caution you to make sure you place your dress in a very secure place. You don't want them showing up to visit, only to later discover they stole your dress. Not the asshole. That is your wedding dress. Cuz can sit and spin. Not the asshole, not the asshole, not the asshole. You can give them lots of pictures of the dress. Maybe even offer for you to bring it to her chosen seamstress to let them look at it to copy it. But it should never leave your sight. And you are not costing her thousands of dollars. Her own obstinance is. She could have chosen a different dress. As for being cut off by them, seems to me that could be a good thing, the way they're acting. Are they always so entitled? Especially while projecting their entitlement onto others? Not the asshole. They aren't entitled to use your stuff and you plan to pass it down to your daughter. What if they spill something on it or something that ruins it for your daughter? I would understand them asking if they were related to Mill, but they aren't and they have no connection to it past, which is not enough. Not the asshole. The amount of entitlement here is shocking. Wow. The entitlement is crazy. You are for sure not the asshole. Do you have someplace safe and secure that you can store this dress? I wouldn't trust them not to steal it. Am I the asshole for not changing birthday tradition for partner's kid? My daughter Hazel, 7 female, has been obsessed with animals, especially monkeys, for most of her life. On her birthday each year, minus the last for obvious reasons, we visit a local holiday park and petting zoo. My mother started this tradition for my nieces, 28 female and 21 female, who have obviously outgrown it by now, but I like to carry it on. I explained the tradition over breakfast to Natalie, my partner of 3 years, expecting her to be excited too, but she was not. Natalie told me that her daughter, Gracie Mays, 8 female, a fearful child and too worrisome around animals such as horses, donkeys and goats to enjoy such a day out. Natalie suggested that we try somewhere new, that would be less frightening for her, a new tradition. I knew Hazel'd be heartbroken, so I insisted on the holiday park and petting zoo. While Hazel, my niece, 21 female, Natalie's son Jack, 10 male, and I went to the holiday park, Natalie stayed at home with Gracie May. Jack hadn't seen a goat in person before, so that was exciting for him, whereas Hazel was tall enough to go on rides she couldn't previously, which excited her. Hazel and Jack each picked up a toy from the gift shop on our way out and we stopped at McDonald's on the way home for dinner. So, overall, Hazel had a good birthday. Natalie was less thrilled about the day. I thought I'd been nice to include Jack, but she thought I'd driven a wedge between the siblings by taking one and not the other. I said Gracie May can do what she wants on her birthday, but it was Hazel's birthday, so it would be unfair for it to revolve around Gracie May. Natalie thinks I was heartless for isolating her daughter, not even bringing her McDonald's, while she listened to Hazel and Jack talk about the fun they'd had. This annoyed me as Natalie'd been the one saying Gracie May would have hated the trip, which was why she wasn't invited. Natalie doesn't think I'm putting in enough effort to establish that we're supposed to be a family now and that we do things together, which generally I'd agree with, but surely Hazel's birthday is supposed to be about her. Regardless, Gracie May is clearly miserable and feels very left out while Hazel and Jack had a brilliant time. I didn't want to hurt anyone, I just wanted my daughter to have a special day, but I do understand why it would upset her. She is clearly an emotional child. Am I the asshole? Edit. To clarify, we ate McDonald's at the restaurant. Nobody brought it home and nobody ate it in front of her. Natalie had already fed Gracie May. Also, the holiday park is a circuit. The petting zoo is unavoidable. Edit 2. My partner and I do not live together. I spoke to her at breakfast 2 days before the party and did not see her, Gracie May or Jack until the day of, so I had no opportunity to ask Gracie May personally. I couldn't have planned it sooner as, due to weather issues here, we were unsure if the park would even be open. You're not the asshole and I don't get why your partner didn't just take Gracie May out instead of having her sit at home and sulk. Not the asshole. Natalie should have taken Gracie May out for a movie and an ice cream instead of stewing at home over her resentment about how you treat your daughter on her birthday. Not the asshole. Natalie doesn't give a damn about Gracie May's feelings. If she did, she would have done something enjoyable with her herself while you guys were out. Instead of doing something uplifting for her own child, she sat home with her where they sulked together and became miserable for the sole purpose of using Gracie May's misery to make you feel guilty for giving your own child a happy birthday. If you're smart, you will think long and hard before continuing this relationship. Natalie has made it clear that she expects you to prioritize her daughter over yours and that she will go so far as to increase her own child's suffering just to manipulate you with it. She is not a good person to have in your daughter's life. Not the asshole. Your partner made a decision for her child, you didn't exclude them. Your daughter deserves to have the day celebrated the way she chooses. And, in the future, perhaps partner's child might decide for herself if she wants to do something, or not. Not the asshole. Also, where does it end? If Hazel wants to join the swim team but Grace is afraid of water, does Hazel have to quit? I don't think Grace should be forced to do things that make her uncomfortable, but she doesn't get veto power either. Her mom is being unreasonable and is probably responsible for at least part of her daughter's fears. I can't believe she never allowed her son to spend time around animals and he's 10. Wow, he must have had a blast with you and your family. I also wanted to add, the fastest way to guarantee your children rebel hard against your blended family is to force them to give up the activities and traditions they love. Not the asshole. Your partner chose that her daughter wouldn't attend, and then she didn't do anything special with GM. Maybe because she wanted to make a point about GM being left out. If anything, you could have invited GM directly instead of letting her mom decide for her. Either way, it's your daughter's birthday, but your significant other made it all about her and her daughter. I see red flags, not gonna lie. Not the asshole. Natalie isn't going to help her daughter by shielding from things that may frighten her. She could easily have come along and kept Gracie May feeling calm and safe. Did Natalie ask Gracie May if she wanted to go? And you're right, Hazel's birthday is about her. NTA. You didn't isolate her daughter, she did that herself. You invited her and she declined and didn't attend or had her daughter attend. And you're right, today was all about your daughter. When it's her daughter's turn, then she gets to choose the activity. Am I the asshole for having my mom come over after my wife gave birth? I, 30M, and my wife, 30F, have been married for a year. My wife gave birth to our newborn son 3 weeks ago. We were both very excited, but my wife's mom had passed away a year before we got married, so she was quite upset that her mom wasn't there. So, she didn't want my mom to be in the delivery room, which I could completely understand. My mom, 58F, wanted to be in the delivery room, but she was okay with my wife's decision after I told her about it. My wife and my mom get along okay with each other. So everything was fine after that. So, a few days after our son was born, my Sills, 24F, and 27F, came to see my wife and our son. My wife was okay with them coming over and didn't mind. I didn't have a problem either, so everything was fine. But my mom was very excited and wanted to see her grandson, but my wife hadn't invited her or anything. So, I thought my wife had forgotten about my mom and invited my mom to come over and surprise my wife. My mom came over and stayed with us for a day. I am doing everything like cooking, cleaning and other household stuff for the last 3 weeks to give my wife a break and time to recover. So, she didn't have to take care of my mom or anything. But after my mom left, my wife was upset with me and told me I shouldn't have invited my mom like that. And that the first few weeks are very important to have time with the baby, so she didn't want any guests. But my wife was okay with my Sills coming over. So, I felt like my mom was being left out of our son's birth. I thought my mom would be more helpful than my SILs because she went through the same experience unlike my SILs, but I am feeling guilty about this. So, my question is, am I the asshole for inviting my mom? I invited my mom to come over and surprise my wife. You are the asshole, dude. There is nothing here to indicate your wife would be happy about a surprise visit from your mom. The only reason you'd make it a surprise seems to be because you knew your wife wouldn't want your mom over. Also, a surprise visit when your baby is 3 weeks old? That alone makes you are the asshole. You are the asshole. Don't surprise your wife right now. Communicate with her. Gentle, you are the asshole. It may be that you didn't think of this, but your wife is likely more comfortable being in various states of undress with her siblings versus your mom. I wanted nothing more than to be topless and sleep for the first few weeks, and I wouldn't have had a problem with my sisters being there, but that would be very awkward for me if my mill was. So, I thought my wife had forgotten about my mom and invited my mom to come over and surprise my wife. Surprise. You're an asshole. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. You should have asked. No one likes a surprise visitor after surgery, and your wife is clearly missing her mum right now. She's the one who just went through a major medical procedure, not you. Soft, you are the asshole. Giving birth is a very intense medical experience. She also has a lot of new stress and her hormones are going wild. This is not the time for surprise guests. I do believe you were well-intentioned, but this should have been talked about with her directly. You should have told her you invited her mom. But your wife doesn't get to be the sole decision-maker on who gets to meet your son. I'm tired of all these posts that make it seem like the moms have total control over all things with kids. Men are more than just sperm donors and ATMs. As long as they are also responsible for parenting the kid, then they also get to make decisions regarding it after it is born. You are the asshole. It sounds like your sisters-in-law did not spend the night, but your mother did. Also, of course she's going to be more comfortable with her sisters at her house than she is with her mother-in-law. It doesn't matter that your wife didn't have to entertain. She probably felt she needed to be on, which is exhausting when you have a newborn and you're healing. She might not feel the need to be on with her sisters because they grew up together. Side note. Your mom was not left out of your son's birth. She was not involved in the production or gestation of your child. She can want to be in the room all she wants, but she wasn't invited, and I don't have single friend who would want their mother-in-law in the room while they gave birth.